Don't say anything. Do not say anything. What I just endured was... I don't know what I just endured. I was literally thrown in the middle of a lake. Drowning. Drowning at the bottom of the lake. While meeting the beast itself. And I was stuck in that lake for the entire year. So much, in fact, that I got the monster chlamydia. I don't know how I did it. I don't even know how I did it. But I just did it. Or maybe just because I've been snoozing the whole time. I don't know. Speaking of snoozing, welcome back to the Brumakian podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 4, an unbelievable snooze. And I'm the host, Demetrius, and I've just... I don't know. I had something creative for this intro, but I decided, you know what? I'm not even gonna bother. Oh man, what in the world was this movie? I guess I should say the title first. The Giant Monster Varan, or Varan the Unbelievable, or Varan the Unbelievable Giant Monster. Whichever one you prefer. Keep this in mind, this is the only time that a monster that hasn't been known throughout the lore who has ever gotten one movie and never been seen again. He's been seen again in Destroy All Monsters, but we never saw him afterwards. Why is that? Why in the world did this monster ever get only one movie? Why is that? What makes his first movie not all that memorable? Well, it might have to do with the fact that originally this movie was supposed to be a TV show, a co-Japanese and American production. But later on in the production, it turned into a full-length film. Hey, if I was them, I would literally go for the TV show aspect. Another thing that I will get into later on down the line. But I had to ask myself, what the hell happened behind the scenes? What exactly happened behind the scenes to make this movie boring? Yeah, people, I'm not gonna lie. I was bored out of my mind. Oh, man. How was it boring? Well, I'll tell you the plot, if that makes any better. I doubt it will. Well, yeah, also, for those of you who are wondering, the song is called Roar by my own Kurosaki. It's on YouTube, so I'll provide a link of it in the description below, or I could just upload it to my YouTube channel. Either way, it's a good song. I'm glad I chose it. A rare species of butterfly native only to Japan's Kitakami River area is discovered by 2 Japanese students while vacationing. In response, an expedition is dispatched to the northwest region, the Japanese Tibet, to study the butterflies in their native habitat. While traveling to the location, 2 researchers come across a village. They ask the lake's location, but receive no answer. The 2 eventually come upon the lake and find the butterflies, but are mysteriously crushed by something that police described as powerful. I do not know how powerful it is, but okay. Nearby villagers of the Kitakami River insist that both deaths were a result of the wrath of their god, Baradagi Sanjin, which is Japanese for mountain god Baradagi. Another expedition is dispatched to the area, funded by the film company 20th Century Mysteries Solved. That doesn't sound like a knockoff of 20th Century Fox in any way. An organization seeking to uncover the truth behind both deaths. Reporters, I'm not even going to name them, because me, and one of them is the sister of one of the men killed. And then entomologist? Yeah, entomologist. You're gonna name Dr. Kenji, played by Kozo Nomura, to come along. And now it's time for me to shoot to the hip. They get to the villagers tell them to leave or else their god will kill them. The dog vanishes, the boy vanishes, the group that came to the village vanishes to find them both. Okay, they eventually find the boy and the villagers follow suit, and then the monster known as Varan comes out of the lake. Man, that must have been one giant jacuzzi that he came out of. So of course the village is destroyed. The military launches an attack to kill the monster. Surprise, surprise, it does diddly dick. Damsel in distress number 853. And soon after, he's lured away from the location by flares, and then he decides to spread his wings and said his people needs him and flies like a flying squirrel to the ocean. That shot did not look awkward at all. I'm sure it did not look awkward at all. What follows is what goes on too long and tedious. Depth charges? Nope. Cannons? Nope. Planes? Nope. Doesn't do diddly dick, like I said, to Varan. Eventually, he gets to Tokyo, or the Tokyo airport, and gets his balls blasted. Well, he's fine, but Nakajima isn't. By the way, fun fact, Nakajima actually had his balls in pieces by the pyrotechnics. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I hate to be Nakajima inside that suit. Poor guy. He needed that physical checkup when he was done. So anyway, so they get the idea to shove bombs in his mouth. It works, and Varan blows up. The end. What else do I have to describe this film's plot to you? Oh, man. So yeah, as you can probably tell, this episode is going to be a little bit more shorter than the previous three. And there's an easy reason why. Because there's barely anything to talk about here. In terms of like characters, they're uninteresting and bland. It's almost as if the actors and actresses were not so interested in playing their parts. If you actually look at their faces, they look so unenthusiastic, and they sound unenthusiastic doing their roles. It's just like, oh my God, people, put some emotion. Put some emotion in what you're doing. But alas, the acting is just Jesus Christ. But that's not the only thing that's unenthusiastic. The plot. The story drags. It just drags and drags and drags. You know, I would have been okay. I would have been okay if it was just a TV show. But no, it just turned into a full feature-length film, so then the plot suffers. Those are the characters in the plot. The monster, the only monster in the film, Varan, I can agree with some people on why he was never used again, but I'm starting to see the reason why. Sort of. I'll admit it. That is one hell of a design. It's a combination of Godzilla, Anguirus, and Rodan molded into one. A quadruped, a beast that stands on its hind legs and literally flies. Well, it kind of flies like a flying squirrel. It's just like, that scene does not make it remind you of, I must go, my people need me. I don't know what show that came from that, but I guess Varan did it first. So yeah, that's the only positive thing I can say about the monster. What isn't so positive, though, is the roar. Who thought it was a good idea to use Godzilla's roar? Yeah, it's modified, but I can literally hear it. I still hear that Godzilla roar in him. So when I heard that, I was thinking to myself, wait, you couldn't make another roar like you did with Anguirus and Rodan? Like, you just ran out of money and just reused the same roar? Okay. Well, sooner or later, this roar becomes the stock roar for the rest of the Showa era, but for the first time that it's used here, it's kind of redundant. Oh, speaking of redundancy, did I forget to mention the fact that the film uses stock footage? Like, why? You can clearly tell that this is from Raids Again in the original. Like, come on, guys. Come on. I know you can do better than that. But in terms of the special effects that are there, top notch. I'll give it this much. The special effects, when it's not stock footage, is top notch. So what I is at his game here, I will not complain. At least some effort is put in here. Now, the music. The music is fantastic. If you hear the first track of the soundtrack, there's a familiar motif that makes you think, this piece of music is reminding me of something, to which I would say, silence, you uncultured swine. This theme belongs to Varan, not Rodan. Fuck you, Rodan, you stole it from him. You literally stole it from him. How dare you? But seriously, the music in this movie is absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend you listening to it. But do not say that the music played in this movie belongs to Rodan. Shut your mouth, you uncultured swine. So overall, Varan, the unbelievable giant monster, is really boring. Uninteresting and unenthusiastic characters. Bland story. Spectacular special effects. The ones that are actually original. An original monster with an unoriginal roar. And a fantastic soundtrack. It gets a 60 out of 100. I would recommend you renting it, watching it once, and nothing more. And that's it. And there you go. That's your review of Varan, the unbelievable giant monster in a nutshell. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to church to worship a goddess among men, when I review the original Mothra from 1961. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, dismissed.